Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. 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 How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is, to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב
with a wordless melody. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 ya la la la. Yay la la yay la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Yay la 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 ya la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la 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 la. Yay la la yay la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Yay la 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 ya la 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 la.
Well, friends, Shabbat Shalom and welcome. This is such a special evening here at Temple Israel. It's so nice to begin just with the wordless melody, what we call in Hebrew a nigun. Words just of joy, or I should say syllables just of joy. The lai, lai, lai doesn't even have a translation or a meaning. It's just our way of lifting our souls in joy and transitioning from the everyday of the week into the beauty and the peace and the togetherness of Shabbat. And what a special Shabbat this is. We're so glad this evening that the congregations who are all part of the Interfaith Refugee Resettlement Committee have come together tonight to, first just to be together, because we don't get the chance to do that often enough, but also to really welcome and celebrate the Garmal and Abdul Zai families who have now been in our community for almost a year. We're so glad to have you with us. We're honored to hear your story this evening. And we chose this evening for a very specific reason. On this evening, on this Shabbat, all throughout the Jewish world, we are reading from the Torah from Parashat Lech Lecha, Genesis chapter 12. The story of Abraham and Sarah, hearing the call of God to pack up their things and to leave the only home that they have ever known and go on a journey to a new land that will become their home. It's a story of transitions. It's a story of hope. And when Abraham and Sarah arrive, they're commanded to be a blessing. That is our commandment down to this day. So with all of that in mind, I welcome you to Temple Israel, those of you who are here in person, and those of you who are joining us via the live stream. I'm Rabbi Michael Friedman, pleased to be joined by Rabbi Ilana Nemetov-Bressler and Cantor Julia Cadrain. And I know that there are people from far and wide who are joining us on the live stream too, Cantor.
There are people who are live streaming, some right at home here in Connecticut and others all over. We appreciate you so much. We know that we have people tuning in from Toronto, Albany, Scottsdale, and Virginia, just to name a few. We are so happy to have you with us.
We begin Shabbat in our tradition by bringing light into the world. Sometimes the world feels very, very dark outside, but we bring light. That's our mission. That's our purpose. And so in order to begin Shabbat with light, we are so pleased to welcome Terry Beckoff and Linda Mandel, two of our most committed volunteers. Where did Linda go? Oh, she's right here. Okay, she's right here. I thought she was over there a second ago. We're two of our most committed volunteers. We're so pleased to welcome Linda and Terry to come forward to light our Shabbat candles. The blessings are on page 120 of your prayer book.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We started by singing some wordless melodies as a way of just warming up our souls and our voices, because as the Psalms teach us, everything that breathes should praise God through our voices. And now we'll add some words to some of those songs, some of those melodies. On page 130, the words of Psalm 95, Lechu neranana ladonai. Let's celebrate together.
Let us sing unto God, sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God, sing unto God a new song.
In the morning, before this day's journeys begins, I offer thanks before you, God. that just as you found me worthy to gaze upon the sun in the east, so I will merit seeing it in the west. And when darkness descends, may it be your will to grace me with another dawning of light. L'chadodi is our transition point, our moment where the darkness, although it's dark outside, it fades inside, and we see the light of welcoming in the Shabbat beloved. We turn to page 138 and 139. We'll pray verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And on verse 9, rise and face our entrance to welcome in that beloved. We sing together. We remain standing in body or spirit as we turn to page 146 for Baruch Hu, our call to prayer.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu
I invite you to be seated. I received a wonderful gift from my mom. I got a box of spring blooming daffodils and Jack in the Pulpit. Yesterday, I made time to go outside and plant them, sitting there cleaning space in the dirt, and then I dug a deeper hole, and my trowel broke. I'm not that strong, yet I was trowelless, and I had to figure out how to finish the work. So I went into the shed, found a giant shovel, and dug the hole and put the bulbs in the ground. And I had the right tool for the job initially, but it didn't work, so I got a different one. The Shema for me is a reminder that we don't always have the right tools, whatever we need in the moment. But when we look to God, however we might imagine God, God helps us find the tools. God helps us find that patience, that quiet, that calm. And whatever that is, we find it and we can then use it for whatever task we are doing. I invite us to turn to page 152 and 153 for the Shema as we consider whatever we might need tonight, whatever tool we might be searching for.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed
154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Every week, at this point in our service, we reflect on what it means to be free. We remember how our ancestors embarked on the harrowing and impossible journey from slavery in Egypt, miraculously coming through the Red Sea to a land of freedom and possibility. This week, in our Torah portion, Lech Lecha, we read another story of leaving. God sends Abraham and Sarah out. Lech Lecha, God says, to an unknown land, asking them to leave all they've ever known. We know that the journey to freedom takes great courage. In our uncertainty, in our fear, God assures us, as God assured our ancestors before us, you shall be a blessing. We find comfort in the knowledge that we are not alone, that we are blessed, that we are ourselves a blessing. Page 641. 645.
645.
Lechi lach to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. On your journey I will bless you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, lechi lach. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach.
It's been a difficult week for so many of us. In the Jewish community especially, it's been a week of ongoing anti-Semitic threats, seemingly coming from every corner without warning. It's been a bit scary. And so tonight, we need God's protection and God's peace more than ever. I invite you to turn back to the pages of our service, page 160, where we ask God, God, grant that we lie down tonight in peace and that we would rise up tomorrow morning to renewed life. God, spread your sheltering presence over all of us and all of those we love.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'ha'amidenu shomreinu l'chayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings.
shalom ve'amidenu shomrenu
In a moment, we'll invite all to rise for the next segment of our prayer service, the Amidah. To some of us, that'll be on page 164. To some of us, these words are very familiar. And at the same time, I know that we have many guests here tonight of all faiths, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, some who might not identify with any faith at all, and that is totally fine. So I want to give you permission, more than permission, an invitation during these next few minutes of when we'll be praying the Amidah. You can pray in whatever way, shape, form, language, or manner you choose. You don't have to follow the words in this book. You could put the book aside, etc., and use whatever comes from your heart or whatever you bring from your own tradition for these next few minutes. We invite this, our prayer space, to also be your prayer space. We invite all to rise, those who are with us in the prayer book, page 164. And if you want to put the prayer book aside and pray in your own way, you are welcome to do that.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agit tehilatecha Baruch atah Adonai
166.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer chasadim tovim vekonei hakol vezocher chastei avot ve'imahot umevi geula livnei v'neihem leman shemo be'ahava melech ozer u'moshia u'magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah
Page 168.
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל, אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים. ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We invite you to be seated. For those of you who are normally with us, you're used to a silent prayer at this moment. We're actually going to turn to a prayer for healing. Along his journey, Abraham encountered many people. He encountered many experiences. And along his way, I'm sure he also was in need of healing. Just like Abraham needed healing, so too do many in our community. And Misha Berach is our opportunity to ask for healing, healing of illness of mind, body, or spirit. And we invite those of you here in our community and even those of you on our live stream to share the names of someone you're thinking of in need of healing so we all might pray for them tonight. If you're thinking of someone, I invite you to share their name. We add to those names those that have been made known to us: Marta Adams, Eva Cooper, Carol Dichter, William Dichter, Frida Easton, Steve Elliott, Louise Friedman, Maurice Friedman, Rhoda Friedland, Jackie Fuchs, Lanny Gans, Jeff Helfand, David Hidalgo, Natalie Kellner, Phyllis Kamansky, Lauren Levy, Sheldon Manspizer, Don Matthews, Barbara Nash, Stephen Newworth, Alan Nevis, Harry Picard, Carol Randall, Robbie Regano, Deborah Lynn Ross, Tybee Scher, Stan Stern, Esther Stone, Joan Wetzler, Moshe Yaakov ben Yocheved, Shimon Eliyahu ben Abraham Basara.
And Molly Anderson Diker.
We take all those names and we hold all of them in our hearts as we turn to page 371 and join together in Misha Berach.
This is a Shabbat of celebrating journeys. We want to take a moment now to mark a journey of another kind, a journey of 30 years of marriage. So Tammy and Brian and Danny and Charlie, we'd love to invite you to join us up on the bima now.
And we invite all to rise, please. Tammy and Brian, when Abraham and Sarah go forth, they're told to be a blessing, which, as I mentioned, is a commandment that is handed down to us today. But we often wonder, what does it mean to be, to embody a blessing? Well, it means, in part, to commit your lives to one another for 30 years and many more in the future, no matter what, come what may. It means to raise two wonderful young men who have grown and are continuing to grow to be pillars of our world. It means to support this beautiful congregation in so very many ways. It means to bring love and friendship and laughter to your friends, as we know that you do every single day. The two of you have been a blessing for 30 years. May this just be one milestone on an even longer journey. We look forward to celebrating your 60th back here. I'll be here, so we expect you to be here as well.
We want to offer you our tradition's most ancient blessing, the priestly blessing. Congregation, we have a part to play here too. We're going to respond with the words, Ken Yehi Ratzon. It sounds like this. Ken Yehi Ratzon. Ken Yehi Ratzon. That means,
may it be so.
May it be so. Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Ken yehi ratzon. Ken yehi ratzon.
May God bless you and always keep you safe.
Ya'er Adonai fanav eilecha v'chuneka. Ken yehi ratzon. Ken yehi ratzon.
God's presence shine on you and be with you.
Yes, Adonai, fanav eilecha, ve'yasem lecha. Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Smile upon you every day and grant you the gift of peace in your hearts, in your home, and in our world.
Amen.
As I said, Abraham was on a journey. Some of our journeys, like Abraham's, have been completed. And those are the people we honor with Kaddish. Kaddish is a moment of memory. And we recite the names of those that have died to recall their journey, knowing that each person has their own story, their own spark that made them special. And that as we say their name, we hold that spark inside. If you're remembering someone who died within the last month, I invite you to share their name aloud. We remember William Crane Alexander, father of Courtney, David Mars, father of Marnie Nussbaum and Jeff, grandfather of Haley and Romy, Ruth Finn Ocean, wife of Larry, mother of Alexa and Matthew, daughter of Lois, sister of Alice and Elliot. Jerome Weinstein, father of Claudia Cohen and Art, grandfather of Sam, Cassie, and Amanda. If there's someone you're remembering whose Yahrzeit occurs who died at this time in years past, I invite you to share their name aloud. We remember Ziva Blum, Connie Braun, Robert Bird, Tessie Karsman, Mac Korenman, Rebecca Crown, Lillian Epstein, Seidel Gerstein, Gerald Ginsberg, George Goldberg, Nat Greenberg, Sid Green, Stuart Hollander, Helen Isaacson, Stuart Jaffe, Cantor Theodore Kitte, Richard A. Levine, Ira Lieberman, Manette Newman Lieblich, Tony Martin, Selma Messman, Irving Nad, Marguerite Navin, May Perlin, Eleanor Phillips, Rose Ranowitz, Marian Rubenstein, Robert Sale, Risha Granat Shaw, Leonard Stone, Donald Weitzman. In our community, it is traditional for the whole community to be together as one as we recite Kaddish, that we all remember, even if we're not personally remembering. We hold everyone's memories together. I invite you to turn to page 598 and rise in body or in spirit as we recite Mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, B'chayachon uvyomechon uvchayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevarach leolam olmei olmaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei dekudasha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Da'amiram be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Osei shalom mimromav, Huya asei shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen.
And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. And you shall be a blessing. Lechila.
We'll invite you to be seated. I'm a little stuck with this button here. Okay. Wardrobe malfunction. Friends, that basically concludes the worship part of our service this evening. But I know that we are also gathered here for an even more important occasion, a more important reason. There is so much tragedy out there in the world. And that's why I am so proud that our community has come together and that our congregation has helped sponsor this beautiful family, the Garmal Abdulzai family, to come from Afghanistan and become part of our community. This is the second family that the Interfaith Refugee Resettlement Coalition has welcomed to Connecticut. We welcomed the Syrian family in 2016, and they've become so beautifully well integrated into the fabric of Fairfield County. I've always said from the beginning that this effort is important to our congregation for two very specific reasons. First of all, our own story as a people. As Cantor said, we were once oppressed in the land of Egypt, and through a harrowing journey, we made it to the far shore where we could be a free people. And we are reminded over and over and over again in Torah to live a life of compassion and generosity. Why? Because we were strangers in the land of Egypt, and we know exactly what it felt like to be oppressed. And second, it's not just the story of our people, it's the story of our own families. Each and every one of us has a story of our family coming from someplace else to this land, seeking a new life, a better life. Maybe it was many generations ago, and the stories have been passed down with hazy and foggy outlines to some of us. Maybe it was your grandparents or your parents who told you what it was like. And I know that there are some in this room who remember, who know deep in their bones exactly what it felt like when you yourselves made that journey from somewhere else to here. Friends, the story of immigration, the story of finding a new home in a new land is very close to each and every one of our hearts. And so for all of those reasons, I am so proud that Temple Israel is part of this glorious effort that we call the Interfaith Refugee Resettlement Committee in partnership with TCS here in Westport and for other congregations. We're proud to help neighbors, new neighbors, find safety and opportunity right here. Friends, in a moment, I'm going to invite Dan Schley to the Bima to offer some introductory words that help us find our place within the story of this beautiful family, the Abdulzai and Garmal family. I want to let you, those of you on the live stream, know that after Dan speaks, we will not be showing images, we will not be broadcasting images of the family for security purposes. And so you will hear them speak, but they will not be seen on the live stream. For those of us here in person, we ask that no one use photography during this portion of our gathering. Thank you. And so Dan, welcome.
I would say we're a long way from Jalalabad. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, actually. My name is Daniel Schley. I'm here with my wife, Andrea. And I want to say to begin that it's a real honor to be here to address this esteemed audience of friends. And it's also an equally great honor to introduce this extraordinary family from Afghanistan. But let me just add parenthetically what a remarkable moment this is to be in the house of Judaism and to be with members of the Jewish faith, welcoming and honoring members of the Islamic faith. If the global community could witness this very moment and take a measure of the honor and respect that we all feel for one another, I dare say the world would be a better place. The Garmel and Abdulzai families were not members of a hard-scrabble tribe living in a mountain village, often depicted by American television. No, these were families just like ours, families of high achievers, very well educated, with outstanding careers. Khan Aka, the patriarch, my friend, led the Afghan Women's Network, which was dedicated in Afghanistan, mind you, to women's education and empowerment. And for this and for his commitment to equality and justice, he was targeted for death by the Taliban and survived barely a car bombing. His 6 children, including 5 young women, are all exceptionally well educated, each a college graduate with degrees, with bachelor's degrees, master's, and doctorate degrees. They speak 5 languages: English, Pashto, Dari, Urdu, and Hindi. I was reminded tonight they also speak a bit of Farsi, and Mariam told me that she also speaks a bit of Spanish, which she learned listening to the cooks in the kitchen at Fort Dix. Jose worked for the Norwegian Refugee Council, and shortly before the fall of Afghanistan, she received a letter from the Taliban ordering her to abandon her European projects or she would be killed. Basmina is an MD, Basmina is here, and was in her 2nd year of residency. Mariam, now 19, was in her 2nd year of medical school, and at the age of 16 and a senior in high school, She was the only woman in Afghanistan to be awarded a prestigious scholarship to study medicine in the United States. Remarkable. Ahmad Abduzai, who is married to the second eldest daughter, Ranga, couldn't be here tonight. He was the anchor of Afghanistan's largest television station. Later, he became the chief of staff to the governors of Nangarhar and Maidan Wardak provinces, and in his role, he served as a senior liaison to the United States military, passing messages from the Afghan government to the U.S. military that saved countless American lives. Ahmad also survived a series of assassination attempts. He described his morning routine somewhat differently than I would describe mine. He said, I leave at a different time, I take a different route, I drive a different vehicle, and I hope they don't find me. They lived a wonderful life in Afghanistan. They had jobs, they had income, they had family and extended family. They owned a wonderful home in Jalalabad. They were admired and respected. And then it all came crashing down. On August 14, 2021, Ahmad got word that the Taliban had amassed north of Jalalabad for their assault on the city. Under the cover of darkness, they escaped the city, hiding for 2 days along the roadway to Kabul, which was blocked by the Taliban. Once in Kabul, they hid again, trying desperately to make their way onto the airbase for a flight to safety. When I asked Mariam about the bomb that killed hundreds of Afghans and many American soldiers, she said to me in a hushed tone, we were there. On August 27, they secured passage on one of the US C-17 transport flights from Kabul to Bahrain. You've all seen the videos of the desperate Afghans running down the runway and holding onto the aircraft as it took off. They were on board. Now, I won't go into detail about their journey from that point, nor share my wife and my extraordinary journey with this family. But I wanted to frame it in a manner that we Jews can understand. What they experienced over those fateful days in August 2021, that was the destruction of their temple. And their exodus and that of hundreds of thousands of other countrymen and women was their diaspora. They had everything. They left with nothing. They left with nothing but the clothes on their back and Tamana's wedding dress, which she wore under her cloak. It's a remarkable story, made all the more so by the fact that it's true. And let me add that through all of this, through their support of women's rights and for their unwavering support of our men and women in uniform, in the face of death threats that came in the form of bullets and bombs, they never wavered. They never quit. They are indeed the very epitome of dedication and courage. And now I have the great pleasure of introducing you to the eldest of the Garmel children, Jose, whose spirit and energy can keep any menorah lit for a week and a day. Thank you.
Welcome, Jose. I'll just let everyone know that after Jose speaks, there's going to be an opportunity for anyone who likes to ask a question. And then after a few minutes of questions, we will say our Shabbat blessings and move next door for a little, what we call Oneg Shabbat, some food to celebrate the joy of this day. And then we'll have a chance to sit at tables together, and you can continue to get to know the members of the family and ask more questions and hear more about their journey.
Thank you. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I want to express my gratitude on behalf of my family for your kindness, generosity, and gracious welcome. The Garmal family worked for many years in Afghanistan to defend women's education, work, and other lives' rights. To help Afghan women advance and become self-sufficient, we carried out programs from the United States of America and United Nations. Due to our work, my father, my sisters, and I faced threats. My father was attacked, and we received warning letters. However, we persisted in our efforts and kept instructing Afghan women. When my father and I received A warning later in 2021 year, we got depressed and couldn't sleep properly. My mother was thinking that they would shoot me or one of my sisters. Like my friend, who was a female journalist on a national television in Jalalabad, she also received a warning letter, and she did not take care of that letter. She continued her job, then they shoot her. I told my sisters to change my father's bed location from the front room to one of the corner rooms in our house. If they shoot us from the roadside, then my dad should not be in the front room. Along this, I also changed my bed location from window side to the corner of my room to be safe. In June 2021, my father contacted the police station. They said that the situation is under control and we can continue our jobs, but with precautions and a new strategy. My office security department made a strategy for my pick and drop. I have to change, such as I have to change my outfit every day, and don't sit near to the car window, change roads toward the office, and the car should not wait for me exactly in front of my home. When I am ready, then I should call the driver to come to the back road of my home. Unfortunately, we couldn't continue our jobs for a long time. On August 15, 2021, the Taliban took over Afghanistan. Our all family members suffered many problems. It took many days, but we arrived at Kabul airport. At the first door, the Taliban shot at our feet. As we entered the airport, we assumed we were safe, but then there was a huge bomb blast. We lost lots of Afghan people and 11 American military. While we were waiting, we did not eat, like we were waiting inside of the airport. But we did not eat for many days and nights, only water. I was searching for food for my parents and kids, but I couldn't find it at the airport. At the end of August, we were able to board an airplane to leave Afghanistan. And we reached Bahrain country. But before reaching Bahrain country, we had our backpacks, that we had just some of our dresses and important stuff. But the American military told us that you should leave your all stuff in the airport except your medicine. And we left Afghanistan airport with only the dress and our bodies. After one night in Bahrain, we flew to Fort Dix in New Jersey. We were on base Fort Dix for 2.5 months, where we were busy with volunteer jobs with the American Air Force and CDC. Basmina and Mariam were translators and worked for the CDC Health Department. My other sisters were teaching the children, and my brother-in-law Ahmed and I were working with the CDC for delivering health-related messages door by door. My father was heading mosque activities and giving awareness about hygiene to people, that how to keep their rooms and washrooms. On November 16, 2021, we came to Connecticut. We got a well-furnished house with food in the kitchen. We also met with the IRRC team members, such as the health team, employment team, education team, and transportation team, who help us every day. Now, my sisters and I have good jobs here. And Miriam got a scholarship at Fairfield University. This is the time that we would like to thank and appreciate all your care, love, kindness, and assistance over the past year. Without your help, it was a very difficult journey for us. But we could handle it due to your support. Thank you so much for all what you did for us. And that will be unforgettable for us in our whole life. Wishing you happiness, good health, and a full of joy life. May Allah grant you rewards for all that you did with us. Thank you for your patience to hear our story. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll invite everyone else to be seated. Ellen, you're going to facilitate questions? Excellent.
It's a wonderful story. What more do you need that we can help with, either on an immediate or on a long-term planning basis?
Yes, still we need help and assistance. Like 1 year is not enough for settling in a new country. Still, we did much struggle with the help of your team members. The first priority for our family is our immediate family members that they left from us. My only one brother, we couldn't bring him with ourselves. And nowadays, he is suffering from problems in India. And we don't see any way to bring him here. And every day and night, my mom cries after him. Because having only one son, and to not have him for a long time, that is so difficult, and this feeling only the mother can feel it. And beside this, my brother-in-law, that my married sister Tamanna, she is here, but her husband is still in Afghanistan. So in this section, we need support and help if anyone can do something for our immediate family members to have them here and at least to have them safe. Yes?
First of all, what a beautiful story. So deep. What do you perceive to be going on in Afghanistan now? The information here has decreased a lot about what's going on in Afghanistan, but I assume you still have relatives and friends who you are in touch with. So what is your understanding of what's going on there? And a second question, if you have time to answer it.
Okay.
What do you think the U.S. policy should be to deal with the picture?
Thank you for your nice question. I am in contact with my female colleagues, friends, classmates, relatives, And they are suffering so bad condition. They cannot go out of their homes. They cannot continue their education. The females or the girls, they all sat in their home. They cannot continue their education. And you know the value of education in a country, how much it has a value for people or for the country. But Taliban just make excuses for us. It's not in Islam. In Islam, it says that education is the rights of each man and woman. But unfortunately, nowadays, our girls, they are sitting at home. They cannot continue their education. They close their university doors, school doors. One day, somebody announced or mistakenly broadcast the wrong news, that the schools are open now for females. And the girls were so happy, and they were just running toward the school and university that finally, if there is no security, any other facilities for their lives, finally they could continue their education. But unfortunately, when they reached to their schools and university door, that was closed. And the Taliban had them. How you came here? And the smaller girls, under 6th grade, that they are studying still in Afghanistan, just making excuses for them. For example, one of the girl, very talented girl, she is the topper. Just she missed her exam. Why did you wear the blacks? Why did you wear the colorful scarf or the white scarf? Just because of wearing the colorful scarf, she missed her very important exam. Just making some excuses to not let them to continue their education, to not let them to work and to support their families. They killed all families' males. We don't have enough males in our families. Now we have 6, 7 female members in our families, only 1 person or 2 male. Maybe that is an old age person or the kid male. So the women are the responsible to support their family economically. But nowadays they are suffering from poverty because of not performing their jobs. They cannot support their family, and now they have very bad condition. And what was the second question?
You don't have to answer. I'm curious if you were...
Yes, that is very important. I remember now, that is very important question, very important for us. As we supported the United Nations in our country while they were doing work in our country, they brought us here because they felt that we were in danger there. So this is a suggestion or request to the United States government that please bring some flexibility to the immigration policies and process, to have their documentation soon. At least our Afghan people that they brought it here, they just feel that now we have the documents and we will not deport back to our insecure country. Still, we are suffering from tensions because of this issue that, will United States government give us the documents or not? In spite of supporting them, working for that, but still, we just need their support and flexibility in the immigration procedure.
Maybe one more question if someone has one they'd like to ask before we conclude here.
Thank you for your story. It's very touching and very beautiful, and I admire what you and your family have been through and all that you've accomplished since you've come here. You're an inspiration for all of us. I wonder how you are enjoying life. Can you find enjoyment and pleasure in being settled here, even though you know what's going on at home? Are you able to make friends? Are you sensing the freedom that you didn't have before?
Thank you for your nice question. Yes, the first importance for us is our safety. Now, while we are going out of our home, so at least my parents are not in tension that my girls will come back to home or not. Now they are free from this tension. Even if we come to home in evening time, they're saying, this is United States and this is a safe place for my kids. So I would not, they don't think about this issue now. The important thing for us, our safety first. And yes, we find friends here. And the first friends for our family was your volunteers, team members. They were our first and will be our first friends for a long time, forever. They were the people that introduced us to the United States culture, environment, system, and they gave us their very valuable time to us with a very good behavior, with a good support. So now they are our friends. And yes, beside this, every girl that they're doing jobs or they study, we all are meeting with new people and we are making friends. Yeah, but we don't feel that much joyful yet because we are so busy still to just get settled here. We are struggling for that, just for this day, that one day we will also have joy like you people.
Thank you so much, Jose. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We look forward. Everybody can remain standing. We're going to conclude with just a few last prayers. We always conclude our Shabbat service with a prayer for a little bit of grape juice, the fruit of the vine, a little bit of challah, the bread of the earth, and that will allow us to go next door. After those blessings, we'll go next door, and we'll have some snacks, some sustenance. And anyone who likes will be able to share some words to speak with members of the family. As I look out, I'll just say this before we actually do Kaddish. As I look out across this gathering this evening, there are so many of you who I know were involved in securing housing and furniture, providing transportation, providing guidance to navigate this complex bureaucracy that we call America. There are many of you who helped members of the family find jobs. Everybody who can now is gainfully employed. So the family is now standing on their own 2 feet. It's really a wonderful miracle of partnership and teamwork amongst this beautiful community. The one person, it's hard to call out everybody, but John McGeehan, you deserve a particular note of recognition. John was involved in refugee resettlement here to our area back in the 90s and has continued to be the leader. We couldn't do any of this without you, John, so thank you so much.
Let's bless Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila le'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת לחיים.
L'chaim, everyone.
Thank you. We'll bless our challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilah. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechilah.
Dear God, we ask your blessing upon this beautiful congregation, joined together by bonds of fellowship and friendship. We ask your blessing on our new neighbors, the Abdulzai and Garmal families from Afghanistan. We ask your blessing on each of our homes and our families and those we love. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Join us next door.